Hey, I'm back after the week 2 NASCAR race, the Ambetter 400 at Atlanta. This was a really good race. I have to say that. Now, this race was good because it was a long race. I always like a long race on a Sunday. It's a good thing. I don't like a short race. Uh, there was a lot of wrecks and crashes, which isn't the best thing, honestly. It's what NASCAR wanted when they repaved this track, and it's what they're getting now. It's paying off. But it is kind of interesting how this track is going to play out, and I'll get to that later in the video. But there was a lot of lead changes in this race. There was a lot of passing. That's what NASCAR fans want. It was a good race. NASCAR is paying off from what they wanted, but at the same time, they kind of ruined a good track and made this abomination that is working, undoubtedly. It is working, but it is not what I really want to see. Now, let's actually get to the race itself.
In the Ambetter Health 400.
The race would start off with Michael McDowell and Kyle Busch leading them to the green after Joey Logano had a penalty in qualifying for using some gloves that gave him a little bit more grip, technically. So I'll explain the gloves real quickly. The gloves had cupped fingers, and not cupped, but webbed fingers. I'll put a picture on the screen. These would allow him to put his hand out the window and catch more air to bring in the car, which would make his qualifying lap just that little bit faster, which possibly could have secured him that second place qualifying position he earned in the first place. So NASCAR penalized him and sent him to the back of the field. Well, with that out of the way, let's get racing.
Michael McDowell leads them to turn one.
And they wrecked. iRacing is starting to look realer and realer every day. This crash was caused by Todd Gilliland technically, but technically not. It was a chain reaction from a move he made to try and let his teammate up, and it caused a chain reaction which caused a 15-car pileup. This was the biggest crash in NASCAR history ever racing at Atlanta. It was a 15-car pileup. Only 2 to 3 cars' days are ruined, including Alex Bowman, which he slid and popped all 4 of his tires. So in normal cases, you would be towed back to your pit box. But in this case, the safety workers were incompetent and told him to get out of the car. So he was not towed back. He was eventually towed back after he went 5 laps down, but that cost him his race. NASCAR officiating cost Alex Bowman his race, possibly, technically. They refused to take him back to his pit stall and stalled for about 5 laps, which caused him to go 5 laps down, which is almost insane to me that NASCAR can cost him his race like that. But moving on, NASCAR officiating was iffy today. It was a couple of weird things that happened. It wasn't on the track things, but just officiating. They kept adding laps to cautions, which one driver, Kyle Busch, called out over the radio. He said, they keep adding laps to the cautions. And his spotter said they said the same thing. So if you notice a lot of long cautions today, that's why the race dragged on for almost 4 hours, I think, at this point. It was a lot of added caution laps, and we were just under caution for a lot longer today, which is crazy. And maybe something that needs to be worked on. I know it's early season blues, but we can't be having races that drag on like this because of added caution laps. But speaking of Kyle Busch had an amazing race today. He led 28 laps and had a really good race. He stayed up front all day. He was leading early after the first big wreck. And even before the first big wreck, he was contending against Michael McDowell in a new Ford for the lead. And also the new Ford, Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland had a really amazing race today. Also, just like Kyle Busch, what a coincidence. Todd Gilliland was up front all day. Literally. He led the most laps out of anybody. The 38 car. No one expected this coming into the season, but Todd Gilliland led 58 laps today and almost dominated. This car had the potential to win the race. Not only because it's the Ford Dark Horse, but because he was up front all day. He showed skill. He was around NASCAR champions all day and was holding his ground against these guys in his front row motorsports car. Now, the Penske Alliance car. So it's basically just a Penske car, kind of. And that being said, he had a really good race, but at the end of it, he didn't finish in the top 10. He had a flat tire or a toe link or something, is what I heard. It wasn't too clear what happened, but he did go 4 laps down and finished in 26th place. Now I've seen cars be dominant at super speedways, but the Ford Dark Horse is a different breed at super speedways. The Ford Dark Horse absolutely has dominated the first two super speedway races, and I'm very interested to see what they will do in the coming future at these Las Vegas, Phoenix, and then Bristol. I think are the next couple of races on our schedule here. So that'll be good for these dark horse cars. But the dark horse stood out in performance today. You saw Fords up front all day long. Chase Briscoe, Todd Gilliland, Joey Logano was up there at one point. He was charging to the front like no other had charged to the front today, but he got wrecked with Chris Buescher. But it was it was a very good day for Ford. Ford showed power all day long. Trying to think, Harrison Burton was in the top 10 at one time, and it was Ford. It was Ford all around. Ford was doing an amazing job today. Austin Cindric finished in the top four. Ryan Blaney finished second, and Michael McDowell finished eighth after going a lap down. So he had a really good race. Now, there was a lot of exciting moments, and I can't go over all these exciting moments in this short video, but I can show you a couple video clips of some insane things. This first one here, I'll put it up on screen, is Austin Cindric making a 4 wide move to try and get the lead. And this caused 4 wide for almost a full lap. 4 wide just kind of trickled back through the field. And I think it was Martin Truex. I'm not sure who it was at the second as recording this video, but there was somebody that was drifting through the middle and making the whole field 4 wide. It was very exciting to watch today. And just the racing in general was very exciting today. I don't like how this track is. I don't like how Atlanta is, but I will admit the racing was exciting today. I loved it. Loved every second of it, honestly. I was very, very pleased with the racing I saw on my TV today. Also, Bubba Wallace, he had a really good race today. He had damage on his car and came back to finish fifth. So that's very good for Bubba Wallace. Points in the early season. I'm sure Bubba's going to have an amazing, amazing, amazing Las Vegas because Bubba Wallace has showed his talent at Las Vegas, and I think he can very well go and win at Las Vegas with this new Toyota. I'm really curious to see where the Toyota shines because I feel like the Toyota is going to shine more at the intermediate tracks, like what they usually build, and I feel like Ford they may shine it at Las Vegas because the Ford is just so promising now. I'm seeing Chevy literally struggle to lead lines. Kyle Busch was the best Chevy today, but Chevy was struggling, and that is not character for Chevy. So they're behind the curve right now, and people at Chevy need to innovate next season, I guess I would say, and Toyota and Ford need to keep innovating because what they did is being very good. Everybody seems like they're struggling, but Ford doesn't seem like they're struggling. Toyota, they're mid pack right now, but it's gonna be okay with Toyota, I think. One more thing, I think the Atlanta track surface is going to be very interesting with how it ages over the next couple of years. So Atlanta is like the racing. I've never seen any racing like this racetrack, to be honest with you. It's not like Michigan. It's not like Texas World. If you're a boomer, you know what that is. But uh, it's nothing like I've ever seen in my life. This racetrack has been aging over the last 3 years that we've raced here, and it's gotten to its best right now. Now, if this track ages enough where it loses a lot of grip, because it's already lost a lot of grip, but if it loses any more grip, we could see old Atlanta start to creep back into this racetrack. And if they give us full power, this racetrack could look kind of different, you know. And I think I'm going to add a video of what I think this will look like in the future. It's going to be a clip from iRacing, but we'll add that. Hopefully I add it. We'll see what I do in post-production here. This video has gotten long enough though, and I can't talk all night, so I have to end it at 10 minutes. Thank you for watching. If you got here, I really do appreciate it. If I did end up getting on iRacing after this to show you what I think it will look like when this track ages, it's playing right now as I speak. But other than that, thank you for watching. All I can really do is thank you for watching to the end of this video, because this is what I like to do. So thank you for watching, of course. Like, I really appreciate it if you watch to this point. So, you know.